Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Each dragon tribe in Wings of Fire has so many unique abilities that help them survive in their kingdom. But when you break it down, which skill or trait is the best in each one? And if hybrids were involved, what would be the ultimate combo when it comes to powers? I've been really excited to delve into this for a while now, and I'm glad to finally get the chance. But before we begin, a huge shout out to my patrons. Devil95, Thistle, Nookto, Pyranuke, Avril, Pancake, Escarada, Adequin, Alice Cleaver, Moonclaw, Isaac, Iris, Mindro9, Pantala Resident, Horizon the Furwing, Crystal, and PhantomTheDragon. Thank you all so much for supporting me. Links to their social medias are in the description down below. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Quick note, I wrote this before reading the hybrid prints, so there will be no Arc 4 spoilers here. And to keep things fair, Animus Magic is off the table. Starting off first, we have the burly and ever-interesting Mudwings. They possess a plethora of abilities, which include being able to go without oxygen for up to an hour, fire breathe when warm, have general super strength, and more. In close combat, Mudwings are not the tribe you want to mess with. Their raw power would surely sweep you off your talons, and probably into the nearest mud pits. Their scale coloration helps them blend into their environment, and serves as a natural protector from flying eyes and angry crocodiles. Some dragons from this tribe are hatched out of blood-red eggs, meaning they're externally immune to fire. These are some great powers, and I think the ultimate one lies out of preference. Would you rather be strong, nearly invulnerable to most surface wounds, untouchable by majority of fire, or able to wait out and hide from enemies away from any air? Personally, I do think that last one to be one of the best. It could save you against most dragons, and even just be fun to explore with. It also makes me wonder whether Mudwings can soar really high distances, maybe even nearly higher than Skywings, assuming their muscles and bear the flight. They'd be able to last at altitudes above the mountains, with the lack of air being of little problem for a while. Because of this and the combination of speed plus strength, Mudwing Skywing hybrids would be the best mix come out of this tribe. It's time to take a dip in the ocean and look at the Sea Wings. Due to their gills, these dragons are able to breathe underwater without limits. Their night vision surpasses that of most tribes, aiding them in navigating spaces deep below the surface. Their tails are pure powerhouses, able to stun and knock over opponents. Sea Wings are expert swimmers by nature and biology, and their fishhook claws are not to be messed with. Even some light wounds can be healed through contact with water. And I'm sure those bioluminescent scales come in handy when light is needed. I think it comes without a doubt, though, that Sea Wings benefit most from their gills. They can dominate both land and water, and were likely a force to be reckoned with on early Pyria. If they became conquerors, nobody would be safe. It's not like most dragons could follow them down to their turf. I think the Sea Wings would be powerful when combined with Ice Wings. It'd give that dragon the ability to dive into below freezing waters for an infinite amount of time. And who knows what could be lurking beneath those glaciers. But considering the claw sharpness of both tribes, I think a sea ice dragon might just be a terrifying mix. Even though they rarely show off their true capabilities nowadays. The most iconic of which are camouflage, projectile venom, technically a kind of acid, and their bodies being equipped for navigating their leafy home. We all know what they can do, but the question is this: which skill is ultimately the best? While their venom is amazing for combat, even the stealthy kind, their color-changing scales are the real deal. Rainwings can find anyone and vanish in an instant. Think about how much you can do with that, and how many situations you can save yourself from if things go south. I can only imagine what the ancient version of the tribe used to do with that power. And think about it. Quick kills can be accomplished by other means, such as poisonous darts. What you really need is that invisibility only Rainwing scales can grant. As for powerful hybrids, they'd merge well with the Leafwings. That would quite literally be the most OP dragon ever if there's Leaf Speak involved. It's like a living Mary Sue. Next up are the Nightwings, who are rather tricky to talk about because of just how many different skills they can possess. Mind reading, foresight, fire breathing, and night vision are game changers, though almost no one has all of those powers. Tackling them individually, they have their pros and cons. The first two are difficult to manage, and don't go exactly how imagined. Mind reading is overwhelming unless you're trained to block out thoughts, as everything nearby is heard all at once. However, it can provide lots of useful insight. Imagine you're sent to listen in on an evil queen's war plans, or find out which dragon in the room is a secret assassin. Prophecy is a tad erratic. Visions are usually shown in quick, unclear flashes, or manifest in the form of direct and verbal prophecies. Without an extremely heightened version of the ability, the Nightwing is unable to choose what their vision is of. But if such a variant is present, a seer can sometimes glance at potential futures, mapping out realities. Mind reading is probably the better of the two if you're looking at it from a power scale perspective, and in reference to the average dragon. I'm sure there have been few clear sights. It gives quicker results that are typically easier to decipher. I think Nightwings and Hivewings would actually make for some good hybrids. The Midnight Dragons are more prepared mentally than physically, so an external ability or two from the Hivewings could work really well to protect them. But I do think the Nightwings would go well with most tribes as the ultimate manifestation of abilities. It's time to talk about the Sandwings. Their most obvious power comes from what's visible on them almost immediately, those venomous tail barbs. One jab could kill a dragon without treatment, or if it hits a vital spot. People often forget that this isn't their only helpful trait, though. Sandwings are naturally very warm, which could assist allies and themselves when heat becomes a necessity. Additionally, they're able to breathe fire, survive for long periods of time without food and water, and possess stronger senses. Their scale color provides for natural camouflage in the desert where they need it most. Though I do agree their venomous tail barbs are their deadliest weapons, let's not have it overshadow the possibilities of them being able to go so long without vital resources. It'd be tough to smoke out a Sandwing from their den. I think these dragons, due to their close combat expertise, would match well with Mudwings. Strength plus a secret weapon would make the unstoppable in an average duel. Though even with a Sand Sky hybrid, don't let that tail barb descend on you from above. Icewings are pretty OP with their unique Frost Breath, which can cause immediate frostbite and even the removal of entire limbs. The only way for a dragon to recover from such a hit is through an animus enchanted object in the Ice Palace. But even beyond this ability, the Frost Dragons are able to withstand harsh light, their bodies can survive in sub-zero temperatures, and they have the most serrated claws on the continents. Those are some great advantages, even outside of their kingdom alone. And to top it off, Icewings are even surprisingly difficult to read the minds of. Their Frost Breath is deadly, of course, but we shouldn't discount the rest of what they can do. I wouldn't want to come across one of these dragons with a vendetta. And when it comes to hybrids, Icewings would make a killer combo with Skywings, assuming they have both Burning and Freezing Breath. And regardless of if they didn't, dragons like that would be too sharp and slippery to catch. It's time to talk about these Skywings, who definitely shouldn't be ignored. They're the fastest flyers across both continents, and those wings are insane. Their sense of endurance and their physical stamina permit them to achieve long, difficult flights with ease. They're able to breathe fire and possess vision that rivals any of the other tribes. This allows them to see prey, other dragons, and landmarks from super far. On top of that, Skywings are naturally great fighters and certainly hard to wrangle. Due to living in the high, chilly mountains, they're resistant to most cold temperatures. Rarely, fire scale dragonets are born, which have an overabundance of the fire that they're known for. Such dragons have scales so hot that they melt objects with a single touch, and other dragons, acting like live fire on their skin. Even the flames that leave their mouth are hotter than those of a normal Skywing. It gives them a sense of invulnerability, as most weapons are fully singed before they can pierce them, and things like Frost Breath are melted instantly. Fire Scales does have its important pros and cons, as existing with such a power can be a major downside when it comes to daily living. It's undoubtedly their greatest strength, though, since most dragons are unstoppable with it. However, if we're discussing base powers, I'd argue their endurance and speed are very vital. Skywings would be excellent when mixed with Sea Wings, because imagine being able to have dominion over the heavens and waters. I'm not sure what their prime hybrid status might be, especially since both kingdoms are too far to give this daily dual benefits, but if you have ideas, let me know down below. Soaring to the Pantalan groups, Silkwings are surprisingly cooler than they're given credit for. They have a plethora of unique talents and abilities, such as weather prediction and danger detection, thanks to their ever-watchful antennae. I wonder if it's like their own spider sense. As dragonettes, they're fairly weak, since Silkwings must undergo metamorphosis to gain their wings and silk. But after this phase, they can spin great amounts of beautiful and simultaneously helpful natural silk. Because of their internal clocks, they're even more aware of the environment and time than most other dragons. And Silkwings are even expert climbers. Characters with flame silk can weave a variety of special silk, including kinds that burn or give off light. That would certainly be useful, and is their most iconic assisting trait for a reason. Even regular silk can serve lots of purposes, hence why I consider it to be their best asset. Imagine what a fire skills flame silk hybrid would be like. It's like pairable with projectile burning, even worse than dragon flames. Though I also think the Silkwings would beneficially match with Ice Wings. Hivewings are similar to Nightwings, in that different dragons have different powers. It varies, and some don't have any, though they're passed down by family. Lethal teeth and stinger venom, spraying boiling acid, paralyzing toxins, and horrible emitted stenches are some of the items that they can do. The Hivewings have some horribly painful natural weapons, so you don't want to cross them. Since their powers remind me of some belonging to wildlife and bugs, combining one with a Leafwing could be pretty powerful. And last but certainly not least, let's take a look at the Leafwings. I think many people forget that they're also able to absorb sunlight and turn it into energy, just like their Rainwing counterparts. Some even have the exceptional abilities tied into leaf speak, which promotes plant manipulation. It has so much potential and lots of amazing uses. Imagine being able to cause the flora in any region to grow, turn temporarily peaceful, shrink so you can get by, or even flower. Though they're historically been used for combative purposes, think about how leaf-speak dragons can grow more food. Even ones without leaf-speak are very skilled, fitted to the jungle environment and all the challenges it brings. Leafwings and Rainwings would make for an elite combo, like I mentioned earlier. Though imagine how crazy they'd also be with the Nightwings. Traversing the poison jungle in complete darkness would be amazing. But the trick of this video, there are lots of tribes and many hybrid possibilities when it comes to gathering power. Each have so many special traits that assist in their survival. But when combined, which would make for the strongest dragon? Let me know down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!